I might say, the number 24 Baylor Bears. How about that? Leading the Southern Division of the Big 12. Man, you know, if there's any of our big government friends in high places that are listening out there today, and you're worried about the November elections, you need to know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And it's called the Tea Party Express, and it's coming to get you. Early vote was underway. We were just talking about how important it is for the folks to go out and get the voters turned out in force, because I know, you all probably already voted early. You can't wait to go cast your vote. Load up your friends. Load up your neighbors. Load up everybody that you know that hadn't gotten that vote in, and let's send that message to Washington, D.C. As a firm believer of limited government, lower taxes, and the power of the United States Constitution, I have been a proud supporter of the Tea Party movement since its inception on the 15th of April of 2009. I have been genuinely amused by the establishment's reaction. Entrenched political powers, national commentators, and their kind have worn themselves out with their fruitless attempts to discredit us. If you've been in a hard-fought battle, it doesn't make any difference whether it was a six-man football game like I used to play when I was a kid growing up, or whether it's a big-time election, which we're in today. You can tell when you got your opponents on the run, because that's when they start calling you names. And there have been plenty of those lefties up there been calling the Tea Party folks names. Well, the Washington establishment is on the run. And after November the 2nd, there's a whole bunch of them. They're going to be running for the want ads. Brushing up their resume. Because America is fixing to send a bunch of them home. Now, here's what the ivory-towered intellectuals don't understand. The American people, especially Texans, are actually pretty cotton-picking smart. They intuitively understand that you can't keep spending tax dollars you don't have, piling up debt like there's no tomorrow, and just expect things to work themselves out. That approach doesn't work, it can't work, and it won't work. Government exists to serve the will of the people. It exists to further individual freedoms rather than the appetites of the rulers. And here in Texas, we've shown the rest of the country some real lessons about how true conservatism works. I know Doc Anderson's over there, one of the members of our legislature. Doc, I appreciate you being here, brother. You see, he's been one of my partners down there as we put into place 4 pretty simple principles of government. Principle number 1 is don't spend all the money. Leave a surplus. That's what you call a rainy day fund. We got one approaching $8+ billion. And we've worked hard to keep our regulations and our taxes predictable. And the third part of that is we reformed our legal system where that you didn't see these junk lawsuits that were happening before. And the fourth thing you do is to appropriately fund accountable public schools so you make your workforce more competitive. Those are the 4 simple principles of governing. Then government, get out of the way and let the private sector do what the private sector does best, which is create jobs, create wealth. It's not rocket science, it's common sense. Those guidelines have helped Texas create more jobs than any other state in the nation for the last decade. More jobs than any other state from January to today. I wish they'd try that in Washington, D.C. Put those 4 little principles in place and see what happens. Instead of imposing this one-size-fits-all, that may work pretty good for gym socks, but it don't work for government. One size one-size-fits-all does not work for the United States. If you've had it up to here with the big government, high-tax crowd, I want you to take your cell phone out right now. Just whip that thing in. Right it is. Type in the word fed up, F-E-D-U-P. Just type that in, fed up, and then text it to 95613. Over the next 10 days, we'll keep you tuned in on what we're doing to turn out to vote and win this big election. And we're going to continue our efforts to put the federal government back in a box called the United States Constitution. And we're going to use a big old stick called the 10th Amendment to put it back in there. It is time for those big government advocates to reshape their priorities in favor of the American people. Because the critics, they mock our demonstrations. I can promise you there's going to be somebody on MSNBC making fun of us tonight. And they're going to dismiss our reasoning. I think it's time to get their attention with the one thing they do understand, and that is our votes. Some of you might want to hold your vote for November the 2nd, that's all right, but I'd rather you just go on and get it done right now. This next week will be a good time. Matter of fact, in the morning at 7 o'clock, those polls open. Go ahead and get it done, and then spend the rest of the week finding those folks who hadn't voted yet. Devote your time between now and November the 2nd of persuading every single registered voter you know to go to take advantage of this incredible privilege. Exercise that right to vote. Get your folks in other states to vote. There are 37 governorships all across the country. You got friends in states where those elections are going on. Call them up, love on them a little bit, tell them you miss seeing them, and then tell them go vote for the small government fiscal conservatives that are running for office in their state. And then on the evening of November the 2nd, no matter where you are when the polls close and the returns come in, we can celebrate. You know, just think about how those first Tea Partiers felt when they scrambled away from Boston Harbor. You know, their feathers were falling off of their disguises, and there was probably nervous sweat running down and streaking the paint on their face. They were running until they were safe. They were out of breath. Imagine their joy and their surprise and their relief as they looked at one another and they realized, we did it. We did it. That's what we're going to do on this November the 2nd. We're going to do it. We're going to take America back, and we're going to do it in the ballot box. God bless you, and through you, may God continue to bless the great state of Texas.